This is kind of funny because having sold thousands and thousands of properties within my real estate team, HOAs over the years have become like the bane of my existence because, again, you have these arbitrary rules sometimes that don't make any sense. And then you have people that don't really have a life that roll around all day on their golf carts and fine people because they didn't cut their tree or because they painted their door a different color. And I think, unfortunately, there are a lot of HOAs that are going way beyond and usurping what they were really intended to do. I think they're intended to keep community looking nice and keeping it kept up. But sometimes some of the things we see in terms of when we're selling homes for clients or we're renovating homes just baffles my mind. So I want to prepare you. If you're a seller out there and you own a home in an HOA community, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've probably gotten some notice at one point and you're like, what in the world is this? Like, I own my property. If I want to put a basketball hoop in the driveway, or it's a rule and there's 97 pages of rules. First off, you need to read and know the rules because a lot of consumers don't. And then they get into a community and they're upset because they didn't know they couldn't have their branded work truck in their driveway at 6 o'clock in the evening. So please make sure that you're paying attention to the HOA rules, but also understand that when you buy into a community, whether it's a HOA controlled community or a condo controlled community, you're not just buying into the asset. You don't have complete control over the asset. You're buying into an asset where you have introduced the ability for someone else to control it. Someone else that may not have any financial background at all. Someone else that may be making decisions that are not based on your best interest, but maybe on their best interest, which may not be financial. So when you move into an HOA and you don't like the decisions that they make, certainly vote and hope that you can force change within the HOA. But the likelihood is that you're going to be subject to their rules and you're going to have to deal with it. And it can be a major nuisance for a lot of people. It's why me personally, I will never personally live in an HOA community ever. You just sometimes get the Karen that's going to drive around and flag you for something silly and waste your time because they have nothing better to do. So be very cautious when you're buying in an HOA. Read the rules. Make sure that you know what you're signing up for. Make sure you want to deal with someone sending you a fine or telling you can or can't do this. Just be prepared for that, because there are a lot of people that move here from other areas where they weren't in an HOA and they buy in an HOA community. And then they realize, my goodness, I didn't know I couldn't have door handles that were this color, or I couldn't replace a window unless I got it approved through the architectural review board. Like, imagine going through the storms right now and needing to repair your home so it doesn't have more damage. And then the HOA being the Gestapo telling you what you can or can't do and holding up your process to get your home back into line. And we've dealt with countless customers through these storms that are dealing with some of the most stupid HOA rules you've ever heard in your life, especially considering the circumstances. And people with nothing better to do with their time are the ones that a lot of times get into these situations. And I can tell you that they're not always the most qualified to make decisions best of the community. Now, I'm not hating on all HOAs. I'm saying I would never live in one. We've worked with a lot of them that are incredible. We've worked with some of them that really do understand, that really did appoint and elect people that run that HOA that do a phenomenal job, that really do have the best interest in mind, that really do make the community better. But just like politics, sometimes you elect people that maybe you shouldn't elect it, and then that community goes downhill. So again, not all of them. I'm saying I wouldn't choose to live in one. There's some great ones, there's some bad ones, but make sure you know what you're buying into. Make sure you read the rules, you read the bylaws, you understand what's going on in that community, and do your due diligence. And then, of course, be prepared for the decisions that they make on your behalf to control your asset, because they can make decisions that you may only have one of hundreds of votes in that causes a dramatic change in the community and in your asset. So that's why I personally won't live in one. I've owned property in them. I presently own property in them. And I can tell you that, again, sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not. And when they're not, it can be a major nuisance. So be very cautious if you're looking at buying and you're looking at buying into an HOA community. Make sure you're reading the rules. Way too many people don't read the bylaws.